Hello, everyone. I'm Christina, and it is time for our afternoon talk about, more current events, because we had a pretty serious talk this morning, kind of got real, right? But it was a good one. It was a productive one. See, someone's already here. Thank you for the thumbs up. Um, we're just going to go over, it's like, 2020 refuses to die, right? It's like even the end of the year is just fraught with peril and things that just don't make sense, and they're shockers, okay? So, fireworks in the sky just don't seem to be the only ones we're seeing right now, is it? All right. And I think, a lot of us are, still talking about the Nashville explosion from Christmas because, well, a lot of the details are still coming out, right? Among a lot of other top trending news right now. Okay. And they've let us know that he did have a lot of education in the electronics, which, was something that I pretty much figured that there had to be some knowledge there too. But still, it's like, where did he get the explosives for something like that? And it seemed like he knew that he wasn't coming back from this. He got rid of a lot of his property. So that's the reason why there was no footage of him walking away from the RV. That solves that question right there. He never walked away. And there's starting to be more speculation about the AT&T building because I think his father used to work there. But I think that might have just been more of how he had intimate knowledge of that specific area and that specific building because of that connection. It may not be because of his dad necessarily. They're saying it might have something to do with 5G, but I think that could also be a little speculative, and it can lead to a narrative that they want us to believe about him. Thank you, On a Mission. I love y'all too. Thank you for the blessing. That's right. Right. And that's what we'll disagree sometimes. We just have to, try to listen and be careful, That's good. Yeah, we're family, we're gonna get through this. We're fine. Um, then okay, good. We still got a few. Uh, okay. So, they want to tell us that this was the only guy that was involved with this, but for some reason, with this guy deceased, there was still another threat in Palestine, Tennessee, where no explosives were found, but it's like, how did that happen? If there was only just one person, and it just seems again to be a distraction because there was no explosives found. It's like there seems to be a pattern here of confusion, and it seems related, but you can't figure out how. You can tell there's just definitely something that's being missed that we just can't really see underneath the surface. And a lot of people feel this way, that it's a distraction and there's something to do with the deep state. But when I saw that second threat in Palestine, Tennessee, I was thinking about the fact that surely most every cop was on that road for hours, which made me wonder what could be going on other roads. That's what I'm thinking. It's like, did they do that again? Did they distract us again? It's like, you have to wonder, right? And then we also had some bogus Empire State Building bomb threat that came out. And okay, so we're going to go ahead and finish this. This is probably going to be one of my shorter live streams since we did one earlier. And we're all pretty much, on the up and up. The stimulus payment, I do have something to say about that, though. There's a lot of people that are very unhappy about the waste of money that is going into this bill. And Trump even seems to be calling for it, but it's like, did he sign? If he signed, how do you call for the removal? How do you go back and forth for that? Okay, so they're like, okay, people are going to get the $600. So I was like, okay, well, what if you've moved? How do you update your information and get a situation together so that you can get this payment if they don't know where you are and they don't know? Well, a friend of mine said that there was this, you have to register. So I looked it up and it's an irs.gov website. But when you try to register, it says, get my payment is temporarily offline. Even though right above it, it says, did you miss the deadline to register online for economic impact payment? You may still be eligible to receive a payment in 2021 if you did not register online by mail and did not get a payment in 2020, or you received a payment, but it wasn't the full amount. The maximum credit is this and that and the other, right? Okay. But you can't fill out this form. So even though they're coming out with a stimulus bill, a lot of people didn't know they needed to register. What if you ain't got a computer and you're homeless? How do you just shut down a place where people can register, especially people have been waiting all this time for some kind of check, some kind of relief, right? One channel showed news reports were written the day before. Huh. Always a lone wolf, interesting ballot printer. New York City burned to the ground same time. They took out communications. Yep, and we're fixing to talk about that too, is what it when you were under attack, say 170 years ago, you know it, okay? There were more covert plans that happened, like, with Julius Caesar, but on a battlefield and during an attack, an invasion of some sort, there were obvious armies coming in, okay? But in today's digital world, the mode of attack is a lot more elegant, okay? And so I'm looking at all these things that are going on with the AT&T building, the cyber attack that we had right before that, right? Where NASA was hacked, 5 branches of military, I don't even need to name it. It was like a lot. It was a lot of really important places. And I always have to say, it's like, okay, so now we've got these things showing up. It's like, why? We still don't know why he did it. We still don't know how he got those explosives. It's just like, I just keep getting the feeling that something really quiet is already taking place, that we're already under attack. And, so I decided to kind of look up things, right? Like what it looks like. If you wanted to attack someone, how would you go about it? That's how you got to think, right? And I think it would be a process. You'd be planned well. You'd watch him for a while. And, there's this article. It is called Harvard Kennedy School. Wait, is that what it was called? Who was written by? Anyway, it's called Covert Action. Authors Eric Rosenbach, Aki J. Peretz. July 2009 is when this was written. Okay, but it's covert action. And I thought that this was important. Okay, it's memo and report, confrontation or collaboration, Congress and the intelligence community. All right. So it talks about a few things and it goes right into what is covert action. And it says, according to National Security Act, Section 503E, covert action is an activity or activities of the United States government to influence political, economic, or military conditions abroad, where it is intended that the role of the United States government will not be apparent or acknowledged publicly. Proper covert actions are undertaken because policymakers, not the intelligence agencies, believe that secret means are the best way to achieve a desired end or specific policy goal. Now, if America's thinking this way, I'm sure other countries could be thinking this way too, right? So we have to look at that as a broad spectrum, not just something that was written about the United States government, right? When it comes to propaganda, it says right here, intelligence agencies covertly disseminate specific information to advance foreign policy goals. United States law prohibits, however, the use of intelligence agencies to influence domestic media and opinion. Wait a minute, what? United States law prohibits the use of intelligence agencies to influence domestic media and opinion. That's not true anymore. Everybody in America can laugh about that right now. They do use their influence over the media. They absolutely do. Whatever. Oh, and you know that AT&T building, somebody said that it's a parent company of CNN, but there's no influence. It's but right here it says United States law prohibits this. So just going on to political and economic action. We are in the cauldron of political and economic action. Am I kidding? Okay, intelligence agencies covertly influence the political or economic workings of a foreign nation, and this is under covert actions. Okay, that's a method, a mode of attack. Okay, they will use paramilitary operations. Intelligence agencies covertly train and equip personnel to attack an adversary or to conduct intelligence operations. These operations normally do not involve the use of uniformed military personnel as combatants. Paramilitary. You understand? It's not straight up military, it's paramilitary. Okay, maybe plainclothes people. And then finally, this article says lethal action. They're about to put something in us. They're putting something in people that could potentially kill them. Okay. But later on, in some of these past videos I've talked about, is that they can actually get to the point where they can force you, they can break into your home, like force their way in and grab you out. And if needed, because we talked about this on previous videos, they can use lethal force. So here we're looking at lethal action. So it's looking like a progression either way. This is lethal action. During times of war, okay, or armed conflict, the U.S. may need to use covert lethal force against enemies who pose a threat. And who's on the terror list? Preppers, patriots, environmentalists. Okay, so we're already in some kind of war, right? The U.S. formally banned the use of political assassinations in 1976. Yeah, they won't even have each other arrested anymore. They're completely immune to everything. All right. They don't mind assassinating and knocking off citizens. Did I say that? Oh, what? Okay. SolarWinds, 300,000 companies linked, entire USA intelligence fully exposed before judgment. SolarWinds stocks dumped just before the hack. That's interesting. Hi, Five Flames. It's so good to see you. Oh, it's so hard to get you in, with your work schedule. I'm so glad you stopped in at least just to say hi. That's great. Okay. All right. Okay, like I said, it's not going to be that long of a live stream tonight, but when you want to attack somebody, you want to confuse them, you're going to use distractions, misinformation. You're going to try to keep things under your hats, like via censorship. You want to disarm them, whether it's emotionally or however. You want to disable their security. You're going to practice. You're going to sabotage. Wait for the weakest moment. You're going to wait for the best element of surprise, clear weather. You're going to instill fear. And you will definitely compromise and hack communications. And so right now, I wanted to just kind of turn our attention to one more tool that is being used as a tool against Americans and people worldwide by certain governments, like China's propaganda with their people. Okay. But with this COVID lockdown, we don't really have a lot more to do in a lot of cases than to watch these social medias. So we're constantly being filled with propaganda of some kind in most cases. And not only that, because the programming that goes on with these certain programs and the way they come across is that these are broadbands. It's a type of thing that you can't see or understand with your mind, but your brain can still understand it and pick it up subconsciously. And so you don't realize that, you may be watching kitties play with a ball of yarn but something else can be being imprinted onto you. Okay. So, let me see. First round, infiltrate, take out high profile targets, propaganda, divide. That's right. And boy, aren't we divided right now. We have been successfully divided in such a way that it looks like we'll never find a bridge. And if you're looking to find it through politics, that's just never going to happen. I'm sorry. It's just not going to. Okay. I wanted to go ahead and end this one really short tonight. It's only been like 15 minutes or so, but I just want to wish you all a great night and we'll talk soon. Okay. This has been great. Bye, y'all.